What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY in the overall market. I'm also going to talk about some very important factors affecting the way the share prices are moving and why Tesla's looking very bullish right now. But just note that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Webull link. If you deposit any amount of money, you're guaranteed 12 free stocks. You deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 in total. And deposit $2,000 more, and you're guaranteed 40. The offer ends very soon in just 7 days. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the market. So far, Tesla's absolutely crushing it because Tesla's not done quite yet. We actually reached the 250 area in my previous video, and I said that we could break this. If that breaks, I easily see us going up to about the 258 zone. That's where we had that gap to fill, and that's exactly where Tesla went to. Now we're continuing to break past that, so we're looking at 260 as our next resistance, followed by 262. So I think Tesla could be pushing all the way up to these highs around 262 and then 265. So we look very bullish, and the 260 should be coming next. If Tesla were to lose 255, it could slow down, but there's no sign of that yet as it's up 21.32% and still counting. So it still has a lot more upside potential. Canaccord Genuity came out and they have a 278 price target. Fubin Securities came out. They're giving a $330 price target for Tesla. KGI Securities has a $276 price target, and the list goes on. The majority of price targets are in the higher 200s, if not closer to 300. So now analysts are saying Tesla should be running to the 300s. There's a lot of hype right now about it, a lot of excitement after earnings, and this thing is just getting started. So I think there's even more potential for Tesla to try to continue this momentum. When you look at the daily looks very strong, especially considering that we technically have had this inverse head and shoulders that's been developing over the last couple of months. So we're holding support very nicely, and we're still favoring that pump up. So we could be on our way to the 270s as well for a more longer term target over the next couple of weeks. And don't forget, we also have this gap all the way up here around the 290s. So if Tesla breaks these highs up here above 270, we could be looking for another target all the way up there. But I'm not worried about the 290s yet. For now, let's just focus on 260 to see if we could get back above 265. Tesla is bullish, it's very strong, and we're just getting started. So I want to make that very, very clear. We're just getting started. Um, for now, look at 260, see if Tesla could break down. We're looking for 262.5 as our next target above that. Then 265. If we get above 265, I'm easily seeing the 270s. So far we look very bullish. Anyways, going back to SPY, okay, we did dip a bit all the way down to about 576.5. Instead of failing there, we saw buyers come back. And I mentioned to everyone, there are still buyers present in the market. So we're not officially bearish or anything like that. So we're looking at 579.36 as resistance on SPY. If we break that, we're looking for the 581 area as our next target. If we can't break past 579.36, we'll see what happens. But right now, there's a very good chance this tries to push even higher. For ES, we're dipping right here. We'll have to see if we try to reclaim 58.40. If we hold that, we're looking for a nice rebound. If we lose that, we're looking for a dip back down towards 58.20. Overall, we have a low right here. We came up into a higher low, came up. We could be making another higher low before it continues to push. So we'll see if that ends up being the case or not. For NQ, let me just talk about NQ real quick, then I'll talk about NVIDIA. One thing I wanted to mention about NQ that's very important, which is related to SPY, is we have a very identical setup. So we also came down here, but notice that we had a low here. We came up into a higher low. So if we manage to break 20,400, it's going to be a bigger push just like that of ES and SPY. So I'm seeing potential in this. As long as we don't lose 20,200, I think we favor upside for tomorrow. The QQQ has the same thing. As long as we don't basically lose 490, we're favoring the upwards direction. A break of 492 takes us all the way up towards 495. So we look bullish on all of these different fronts. And once again, Tesla is the one that's leading the way as we're approaching the 260 area. Nvidia is getting bought back up. It's back above the 140 area. Break past 140.18, and we're looking for a pump back up towards 142. And this may continue to pump, in my personal opinion, as we're doing a good job. Bitcoin's also pushing with the broader markets. As long as we don't lose 67,264, we're favoring a push for 68,000, which if we break this imbalance will fill towards 68,200. So I think there's a good chance we try to push up there. For Aapl, we're trying to rebound. Finally, the buyers have come back. As long as we don't lose 230, we're looking for 231.5 as our target. I think we're going to be approaching that very soon. So I see potential in this. Netflix is looking more bullish as long as we don't lose 750. We're looking for a pump back up to this imbalance towards 764. For others out there, we have the IWM Russell 2000. We'll see if we break 220. If that breaks, we're looking for a pump back up towards 221. I think there's a very good chance this attempts to rebound. We had a low here. We came up in a higher low, and this could continue to push. So I see potential in this nonetheless. For Coinbase, we're trying to rebound as well. As long as we don't lose 205, we're looking for a pump back up towards 210. I think there's a good chance this continues as we're holding above 205. So it's reclaiming its support. Amazon's pushing exactly as I predicted. I said it's going to dip and then pump. We're looking for 187.23 to 2 187.2 to 187.4 is our target range. Breakdown, this thing's going to break out more. I do think we're going to push a little bit more towards that area. Meta is holding 563 very nicely. We could be pushing for 568 next. It looks bullish. Microsoft is trying to hold its support. So it held its 20 EMA. The next target is going to be up towards its imbalance towards 427. So I'm thinking there's a good chance it's going to try to push even more. As far as Google goes, this is once again forming a nice wick here, is trying to rebound. We're looking for 165 as our next potential target. So the market's bullish. Tesla's getting a lot of attention now. Be careful if you're trying to FOMO in. I would say that the entry point was before earnings, or even when we started to run. You had a better entry in like the 230s when we opened up around there. So be careful. But if anything, just know that Tesla is still doing a great job at pumping, and there's more upside potential. And for now, we're just going to favor the upwards direction. So I just wanted to give a big appreciation to Elon Musk, the entire Tesla team, the board, everyone that was involved in earnings. And sometimes unexpected things could happen. So looking back, there were a lot of people who were telling me Tesla's going to crash. It's going to be coming down. It's going to do this and that. I said, look, excuse me. I said to look, when you look at the share price, yes, we looked bearish yesterday, but don't solely trade based off technicals when it comes to earnings. You have to remember that. Technicals are not everything. What matters is what happens during earnings. That's the same thing I've been repeating for weeks and weeks and weeks about earnings. So even if technicals showed Tesla was going to dip lower, that does not matter, because once earnings came out, that could trump everything. And it could also be because of a trap by these institutions and market makers. They trapped a lot of people thinking it was going to crash, only to buy it right back up in one single day. All right, so that's a lesson to remember for the rest of your guys' lives. Remember this day, to not be overconfident, to manage risks, and then always remember that when it comes to earnings, it's always going to depend on what they announce and what the reaction happens to be. Technicals are not going to be everything approaching earnings. All right. Anyways, that is it for my video. I'll see you guys in a couple of hours for another update. Until then, thank you for listening and peace out.